G'day subscribers, happy Easter and welcome to FJ Holden Jive Talking. Today we're going to Jive talk a little bit about the technical aspects of some of the things you find in the paperwork for Nasco, like the accelerator magazines and other helpful documents and technical magazines that you can get, as well as a couple of other things and a little bit of technical detail as well. But what I wanted to show you is subscribers will have seen me with these two books. Now, I did have the originals, and I'm using photocopies at the moment, but these are quarto size. So this one's about the EJ era, and this one's HTHG, I would suggest. And it sort of follows the tried and true pattern of Holden of having a pretty basic car, but having available accessories which glamorise and also add more money to the Holden and also individualise it as well. So they're the magazines, the technical details that I use a lot in my work in understanding Nasco and what was available, and also used a lot of it when I was scrutineering too. But having said that, you can find these little books on the net. Now these are small. That was quarto size, so that's a little bit wider than A4 but shorter than A4, so that's the Imperial. It's not foolscap, but it's like A4. But this is the same version of those photocopies that I just showed you. It has the printed matter and all the detail inside. It is the EJ version, and it has all of the accessories that I talk about, whether it be mud flaps or mouldings, or the medallion, or the anti-lock for anti-theft detail, the taxi bar handrail, heaters, horns, backup lamps, and so on. So you can find this one on the net, but let me just say, if you're expecting to get a large A4 version or a quarto version, it doesn't come like that. It comes in a very, very small edition. So be prepared for something small, and they'll say, oh, it's for the glove box size. Well, I would have actually preferred something that's the realistic size, like quarto, for what I was getting, because these are probably $70. So it's a lot of money to spend for a little bit of document for you to keep in your car. But look, talking about documents, because it is Easter, I've actually gone to the Easter edition of 1954 for the Accelerator magazine. Now, I just wanted to talk about a few things. Now, we've all seen the AC spark plugs. Well, AC, the spark plugs in the wiring loom was made down the road in Fisherman's Bend by Disco, which was the electrical company that first of all provided for the Holden. And then, according to the Accelerator magazines, Holden just acquired them. I originally had thought it was to do with AC Delco, but then learning further that it was actually the Disco company, and I thought it was rather humorous. However, it's a case of you will see AC spark plugs, and you also see a couple of green rings around here as well, for like an AC 46 type spark plug. But anyway, ACs are the ones that came out with them. And I found that in the Easter edition for 1954. But look, what I wanted to do was, I know this edition in particular talks about the anti-glare mask, and I've shown you that, and also the chrome tubular number plate frame, and I had one of those returned to me. The two I had were stolen, and Collie Cockroach organised another one for me. But the other thing that I wanted to show you, and this was something that I had to learn, is I thought all louvers were fixed. And then if you go back and you have a look at the edition where we're actually doing Basil's two-tone green special, you'll actually see the louvers in the back window. Now, they are this style. Now, when I was looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, well, it is what it is, and that's just some that they've got there, because you never know what was available at the time. However, coming back and reading this, I see that that they are a loose lever Venetian. So these are actually removable. So you can actually take them off. Now, I didn't know that, and it wasn't until I actually read the accelerator was it a case that I actually learnt something new, because I'd seen it on a car, and then you see it in the technical specification, and it's like, oh, that's how it works. So look, I thought that was a great idea. But anyway, going through it further, they also had body parts that they would sell for the cars if it had been in a smash. And it didn't matter whether it was a grille or a door or whatever, but there was more parts like grills, fenders, bumper bars, door panels, boot lids, turrets, hoods, and other panels as well. And for instance, a grill, £15. The fenders, £10. Bumper bars, £4, 10. So what's that, about $10, say? But, great information. And also now this ad clearly shows you the 48215 and the Vauxhall. Now you'll see the bumperettes can go on both. So sorry we're having a little bit of light with clouds moving around and whatever, but with each of these utilities, you'll see that they use the same tailgate, the same bumperettes, so Holden and Vauxhall, and you'll also find that they used the same rear window as well. So, Holden was saving money as they were manufacturing. And I've also shown you the self-feed battery fillers. So from all of these perspectives, these are great little things. You'll see the windscreen washers that we've talked about from Trico, remembering 3 different types. One's vacuum, one's a foot pump, and one's electric. They were also used in the E-Type Jag and also standard equipment on a Ferrari. So, as well as American General Motors cars like Cadillac, Pontiac, Chevrolet, and so on. And also the good old-fashioned seat covers. Now, don't forget you could get these in 2. You could get them 2 types of materials. I've seen them and bought them in vinyl. And I've also bought them in a calico light canvas type pattern material. And both of them were very, very good. I've got no complaints there at all. But what I also wanted to show subscribers, 2 accessories. Now, I saw one of these on eBay. Now, this isn't the exact one, but I'm showing it to you from the perspective of getting the information out there so that you know what it is. Now, this type of little lamp was not a popular accessory from the perspective of it was really only issued for the army utes. So it was an army accessory. Now, the army had a few different things. It had the fire extinguisher. It had a little holder for the book. Its book on the kick panel on the driver's side, for instance. We know that it had gutter rails. We know it didn't have the radio nameplate that said Holden on the dash. It was just one complete unit. There was no speaker hole in it at all. But you could also have one of these for the Holden Army Ute. And look, I saw one on eBay a couple of weeks ago. It was like $220 or so. I don't know whether it's sold or not, but that is what it was. I mentioned it to a couple of my mates who've got Army Utes, and they just said, oh yeah, we've got one. It's somewhere here amongst all the stuff, and yeah, it's fine. So that just gives people a bit of an idea that you just don't get bog standard accessories that glamorize. You also get, for instance, mechanical accessories, for instance, like the radiator panel, that screen, the radiator screen, but you also get these as well. So I also wanted to touch base on a couple of other things. Now, one of the things that I saw on the forum the other day was about a water bag. Now, this is a canvas water bag. They could come with backing or no backing, and you can see the framework that's involved. Now, the frame had little hooks. So one went underneath the bumper bar and the other went on the top of the bumper bar. That was both sides. And it's a case of this one here on this Holden accessory, and it was a genuine Holden one. I bought it in the box. It was a case of this was, and you can see there's a bolt here. There's a bolt on the side. These were able to be telescopic, so they're a telescopic pole in here. And as a case of you could lower or heighten where it actually sat. But I really liked these. I could nearly say they're my favourite accessory. Particularly when you're travelling, I love having one strapped to the front of the car, and in the event anything happens and the radio gets a bit warm or whatever, well, you've got a really good supply of cool water. Well, it's quite cold actually. So from that, it's really clever, very good, very practical, and it's a terrific thing to have. And not for nothing, I like it hanging on the front of the car. It looks a bit different. For a long time, I had it on the front of my HD X2, and I really liked it. Now, the final thing that I wanted to talk about, and I was very lucky to get, was I actually got a refurbished 6-volt generator, and I was quite happy to get hold of that. That was great, but it came with no inspection cover. So, and you can actually see the brushes that are in there and so on. So it gives you a good insight as far as what the workings of them are. So, these are a Bosch regulator made for Holden. And now it's quite heavy, very heavy. Now, that one arrived without inspection cover. Now, I just happened to mention it on the group, and an old friend of mine from Toowoomba Marshall, he had an inspection cover for me, God bless him. And what he did was he carried this around to every swap meet that he went to for 12 months, trying to find me so that he could give me this little inspection cover. So I think it was well worth a coffee for he and Chris for me to say thank you, and I appreciate what you've done to help me to make my generator whole. Now, not for nothing that the generator, the starter motor, the regulator box, and the cup that holds the distributor will be this colour. So this is the Bosch brown that you see. I've just got one that's farm fresh out of my mum's china cabinet, and I don't know anyone else that has a china cabinet in their garage. But the body of it will be, the body of the generator will be Bosch brown. And the fins themselves, now this is a new old stock one, the fins itself, and this just comes off, this should be black. So the generator itself will be Bosch brown. So I'm going to get enough paint made up so that I can do a new regulator cover, the generator body, the starter motor after I've had it reconditioned, and also the cup for the distributor. But folks, that just gives you a quick hit for the documentation, a little accessory for the FJ Army Ute, the water bag, and also colours for the generator. So take care, happy Easter, don't forget to share, like and subscribe, but more importantly, enjoy your Holden.